All right, let's talk about the word rich. When you hear it, what's the first thing that pops into your head? I'm guessing it's stuff like flashy cars, designer clothes, and those perfect-looking vacations you see all over Instagram, right? Well, for most of us, that's the picture. But what if I told you that real, lasting wealth is almost completely invisible?
Yeah, that's the thing. The actual day-to-day process of building wealth, it's surprisingly quiet. It can even feel, well, kind of boring. There's no single jackpot moment, you know? No confetti cannon goes off. You don't get a bank alert that says, "Congrats, you're officially rich now." It's just a long series of small, smart, disciplined choices you make over and over again.
So, if it's so quiet and uneventful, how in the world do you know if you're even on the right path? How do you measure your progress? Well, that is exactly what we are going to break down right now. We're going to cover 8 of these subtle signs that show you're secretly building wealth, even if it really doesn't feel like it yet.
Okay, first things first, we have to tackle the biggest myth out there, the myth of loud wealth. This is that social media version of rich that we're all bombarded with. It's an illusion, really. It's designed to be seen, to be loud, and let's be honest, it's designed to make you feel like you're falling behind. But it is not the whole story, not even close.
This is loud wealth. It's all a performance. And the crazy part is, this kind of lifestyle is often fueled by a mountain of debt, or it comes at the cost of any real future security. The people who are truly building wealth, they're usually way too busy actually building it to bother showing it off. So let's get into the real science. The first 4 we're going to talk about are all about building a rock-solid financial foundation. Now, these are the boring, totally unsexy habits that, I promise you, create unbelievable freedom later on.
The first and, honestly, the most critical sign is this one right here. You have mastered the art of living below your means. This isn't about being cheap, and it's not about depriving yourself of everything fun. It's about intentionally, purposefully creating a gap, a margin between what you earn and what you spend. Because that gap, that's where all of your financial power comes from.
And this example just nails the point. Look, Rich Richard and Poor Peter make the exact same income, but their choices lead to completely different worlds. Richard creates a $20,000 surplus every single year. That's his freedom fund. That's his investing money. Peter, on the other hand, spends more than he makes, which just creates constant stress. The takeaway here is huge. It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep.
And that leads perfectly to our second sign. Your entire mindset about money has shifted. You're just not interested in chasing quick wins anymore. You know, the hot stock tip, the get-rich-quick scheme. You're playing a totally different game now. It's the long game, the one that rewards patience and consistency. You're thinking in decades, not days.
And just look at the staggering difference that makes over time. Richard, quietly invests $500 every month, no matter what, and he just lets compound growth work its magic. After 20 years, his $120,000 of contributions has ballooned to $350,000. Poor Peter, who's always jumping from one quick win to the next, barely has $60,000 to show for it. That's the quiet power of playing the long game.
Sign number 3 is your financial shock absorber, the thing you probably don't post about online. We're talking about your emergency fund. If you have 3 to 6 months of your essential living expenses saved up in an easily accessible account, you are already in the top 25% of all Americans. Think about that. It's a massive, yet totally silent indicator of real wealth.
Because what that buffer really buys you isn't just security, it's peace of mind. A sudden car repair, an unexpected medical bill. It's no longer a full-blown crisis, it's just an inconvenience. You don't have to panic, you don't have to go into debt. You just deal with it. And let me tell you, that feeling is a type of wealth that most people never ever get to experience.
Okay, the fourth sign that your foundation is solid is that you've developed what I like to call lifestyle inflation immunity. This is like a subtle financial superpower. It means that as your income goes up, your lifestyle, your spending, stays pretty much the same. You fight that urge to immediately upgrade your car or your apartment just because you can.
And here's where you know you've really made it. When you get a raise or a bonus, your very first thought isn't, "Ooh, what new toy can I buy?" Instead, it's, "Awesome, how much more of this can I put to work for my future self?" When that becomes your automatic default reaction, you've pretty much guaranteed your path to becoming wealthy. All right, so we've nailed down the foundational habits. Now let's dig a little deeper. The next set of signs are all about the internal shifts, the psychological changes that start happening when you're quietly winning the game with money.
Sign number 5 is a big one. You've officially opted out of the comparison game. You know that social media is just a highlight reel designed to make you feel bad about your own life, and it just doesn't affect you anymore. So when Rich Richard sees his friend's brand new expensive truck, his genuine thought is, hey, good for him. I hope that makes him happy. There's no envy. Poor Peter sees the exact same truck and immediately feels that sinking pressure. I need to upgrade too.
Now this one is huge. Money stops being the main character in the story of your life. See, when you're struggling, every single decision revolves around money. It's exhausting. But once you build good systems, your savings are automated, your bills are on auto pay, your finances just kind of run quietly in the background, and that frees up so much mental energy for the stuff that actually matters. Which leads us straight to sign number 7. And this is a really profound shift in your values. You start to realize deep down that time is the ultimate luxury, not money. You stop glorifying the hustle culture and you start craving space and calm and just having control over your own schedule.
And here's how that plays out in the real world. Rich Richard totally gets that money is a tool he can use to buy back his most valuable asset, his time. He will happily pay for a house cleaner or a meal delivery service if it frees up a few hours in his week. Poor Peter is still stuck in that trap of trading his precious time to save a few bucks, which leaves him feeling constantly busy but ultimately time poor.
And finally, we've come to the 8th sign. Your language, the very words you use, starts to change. You stop using phrases that make you sound helpless, like "I can't afford that." Instead, you start using the language of ownership and choice. Saying something is not a priority for me right now is a radically different statement. It means you are in control, you have a plan, and this shiny object just doesn't fit into it.
What this all boils down to is that you take complete and total ownership. You stop blaming the economy or your boss or things that happened in the past. Instead, you focus like a laser on the things you can control: your savings rate, your spending habits, your skills. That mindset puts you right in the driver's seat of your own financial life.
So as we wrap all this up, let's just redefine what rich actually means. It isn't about hitting some magic number in your bank account. It's about freedom. It's about having options. It's about security. And it's about the peace of mind you get from knowing you build something solid, something that can't be taken away easily. If you only take one single thing away from this, let it be this right here. The path to wealth is paved with a lot of boring, disciplined choices. But it's those boring choices with your money that end up funding a truly exciting, flexible, and free life. And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. What is one small, seemingly boring financial choice you could make today? Maybe it's automating a transfer to savings, or skipping one impulse purchase, or making one extra tiny payment on a debt. What's one boring choice you can make right now that the future version of you will be incredibly thankful for? The quiet work starts today.